Fellas, lady fellas, Ephemera Society, welcome to the Fantasy and Reality Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Spencer Tacker. Today in the ridiculously overdecorated studio, we're going to be going over the Thursday night preview. So tonight's Thursday night game features the Tennessee Titans traveling south to visit the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Titans are 1-1 and the Jacksonville Jaguars are 0-2. Last week, the Titans fell to the Colts and the Jaguars were defeated by the Texans. Now, in the most recent news about this game is about Jalen Ramsey. He requested to be traded, and there are a few teams looking his way. But the Jags want a hefty price for him, and whoever is the team that will sign him is going to have to pay him a large chunk of change because Jalen Ramsey wants to be paid, just like everyone else in the NFL. And with Minkah Fitzpatrick recently being traded to the Steelers for a first-round pick, then that means that the Jaguars are seeing what Jalen Ramsey is going to be worth. So whatever team is going to trade for Ramsey is going to have to give up a first-round pick plus either another pick or two or a skilled player that the Jaguars would be interested in. But we'll see how that plays out. But as for the game as a whole, I think it's going to be a snooze fest. I'm not looking forward to it very much. Almost every primetime game so far this season has been a letdown, except for the two Monday night games that were pretty exciting. And I would imagine that Ramsey would be suited up for tonight's game, but with him you never know. He could be sitting out for any number of reasons, or showing up but not participating, or not giving his all 100% because he's ready to be traded, so he's done with the team, so he might have written himself off to them, written them off type of thing. Well, I'm not going to give my all anymore, I'm just waiting to be traded, that way I can preserve myself. But if Ramsey were to play, he and A.J. Boye would be nice in that secondary, and I don't think Marcus Mariota can handle that. I think it's going to be a tough day for Mariota because last week, Deshaun Watson even had a difficult time against this defense. Now, granted, in week 1, the Jacksonville Jaguars defense had to go against Patrick Mahomes, but I mean, it's Mahomes. You can't quite go by that stats because he skews them so much that it's not a true, accurate statistic on how well the Jaguars defense performs if they went against him week 1. So last week, I would assume is a bit more accurate because, like I said, they made Deshaun Watson look a little less than great. So, I mean, Marcus Mariota is not half the quarterback that Deshaun Watson is. So I think that Mariota is going to look terrible. You never know. He performed well against the Browns and Colts, so you never know with him. But if the Jaguars did have a bit of a weak spot in the defense, it would probably be the rushing defense. Last week, Carlos Hyde had 20 attempts for 90 yards, and in the first 2 weeks of the season, Derrick Henry has had over 80 yards each game. So that could mean that Derrick Henry will have a nice day rushing. As for the pass catchers against the Jags defense, they haven't fared so well. So that would make you a bit nervous to be a Deion Lewis owner. So I don't see him having an impact in this game. And unless Mariota can stay calm in the pocket and not throw the ball directly into the defender's hands, then I would not start any of the Titans' offense. I'm not a believer in Corey Davis. Never really have been. He always disappears. I do like Adam Humphries, although, like I said, I don't think Mariota will perform well, so I don't think that Humphries will have positive numbers to make him valuable. So the only players I would be any type of confident in for the Titans offense would be Derrick Henry and Delaney Walker, because as I said, I think that Derrick Henry will have a decently good game, could have 100 all-purpose yards, so he could have a decent day, maybe double-digit points if you can see the end zone. And then Delaney Walker is Mariota's dump-off guy. Anytime he feels nervous in the pocket, he's going to Delaney Walker. So he's very reliable, basically number 1 guy for Mariota to throw to, so I'll be decently confident in starting Delaney Walker. I would also start the Titans defense. They performed well against the Browns and Colts offenses. Like in week 1, if you saw that game, Baker looked not so great. He threw 3 picks in the fourth quarter, so if they can get the turnovers like they did in the first week, then they'll be in very good shape. And with Gardner Minshew coming in to take the place of the newly acquired and injured Nick Foles, you might see him make a couple mistakes, and that defense is definitely going to capitalize on it. Now, don't get me wrong, Minshew has performed pretty well so far since taking over for Nick Foles. He hasn't really blown the top off of any defense, but he also hasn't got his teeth knocked down his throat. But he would still be a sit for me because, I'm not too sure who he would be a start for unless you're in a super deep, super flex league. He might be valuable to you, but other than that, he would definitely be a bench for me. Although I do like the weapons around Minshew. Leonard Fournette is a powerhouse, and he should see a good amount of volume. He'll be a start for me tonight. D.D. Westbrook was seemingly the number 1 receiver on the team whenever Nick Foles was there. But now that Minshew is the guy, Chris Conley and DJ Chark have been outperforming D.D. Westbrook. And in deep PPR leagues, Conley and DJ Chark would be flex spots for me. And Westbrook could be a sit for me because he's had to endure the lack of targets the last couple weeks. So I'm sure he'll probably see the same 3 or 4 targets and not be as impactful on the offense as he could have been if Foles was there. I'll probably consider sitting the Jaguars defense, especially if not knowing what Jalen Ramsey will do. I'm sure he'll play, but who knows if he'll give it his all, how much effort he'll put into it. So we'll have to see how that plays out now. We'll have to keep a close ear to the news to see more up-to-date things on the status of Ramsey and the Jaguars. But to recap, for the Titans, I would start Derrick Henry, Delaney Walker, and their defense. And for the Jaguars, I would start Leonard Fournette, and then Chris Conley and DJ Chark in deeper leagues, PPR, to be a flex spot. And possibly D.D. Westbrook, but I don't feel super confident in that decision now because of the fact that he is probably not the number 1. But that was the Thursday night preview. As for the pick'ems for this week, if I had to choose a team to win, I would probably choose the Titans. I feel that they are the more complete and competitive team based on what we've seen the first 2 weeks of the season, even though that's a very small sample size. No matter the outcome, though, I feel like we as the viewers are losers because there were 15 other games that could have been picked for this primetime slot, and they somehow chose this one. But please share your thoughts and your views on this game and players that you think will have an actual impact on the outcome. Who do you think will win? Let me know your predicted winner, as well as who you think are starts and sits for this Thursday nightmare. But as always, thank you for tuning in and thank you for your support. Leave all your questions, topic suggestions, comments, any kind of questions, information as you have. Leave that down in the comment section below. We'll answer any and all questions that you have as thoroughly and as informative as possible. Remember that sports are supposed to be enjoyed together, so please tell someone about us. Watch together. We want to try to grow our community as much as possible, inform as many people as possible. So in order to do that, you gotta smash that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button so you keep trying to give you as much content as possible. But gotta get ready for that game tonight. Who knows what's going to happen? Fingers crossed that it'll be a good game, but I don't have high hopes. But lastly, I'll leave you with God bless America and God bless fantasy football. Take care.